Hi guys, this is James from Jurassic Unicast, and today I'm going to talk about why scientific accuracy makes no difference in the Jurassic franchise. First of all, scale. Size of dinosaurs is quite controversial among the fandom and among scientists. Is the T-Rex that big? Is the Spinosaurus that big? Is the Dilophosaurus really venomous and only about 4 or 5 feet tall? When in fact, in science, based on the discoveries, some of these dinosaurs are slightly different to what we see on screen. But that doesn't make the dinosaur that we do see on screen any less fun to see on screen or any less amazing. Or like, I remember the first time I saw the dinosaur on screen, which was the Brachiosaurus. I was amazed. I was only 6 years old, and seeing that in the cinema completely changed my life. I adored the film The Land Before Time as a child, and transitioning from The Land Before Time, which was obviously a cartoon, to seeing these animals that looked real was life-changing, and I've never ever looked back since, and I've always adored dinosaurs and the Jurassic franchise. Spielberg had a tough time trying to, keep faithful to the books, as well as almost put his own spin on things, because being a director, it can't be easy to appeal to all different types of audiences. So Jurassic Park was looked at as a thriller, action adventure film. So to meet all three criteria of them genres, you have to take some considerations and also sacrifice certain things. An example being the Velociraptors. The Velociraptors in real life were only the size of, say, turkeys, but not the 6 foot, 130 kilo plus dinosaurs that we see on the screen, and they're a fan favourite. They should also be feathered. But the feathers are the least of the problem. The proportions of the body weight and their articulated, the lack of articulated hands, their wrist joints, the actual anatomy of the dinosaur is slightly incorrect, along with behaviour. But that goes for all of the dinosaurs in the franchise. If we were going to go through the scientific route, the scientists all have different opinions, and through discoveries, their opinions change. So there isn't an exact scientific route to take when it comes to the Jurassic franchise. In his book, Crichton wrote these animals to be genetic engineered animals, just depictions of what the audience will assume a dinosaur would be like. In Jurassic World, even Henry Wu suggests if the genetic code was pure, a lot of the animals would be different. My personal opinion, I would love to see feathers introduced into the franchise, but gradually, not all of a sudden the next film we have now got feathered dinosaurs as opposed to the scaly ones. One thing I've noticed that never ever gets mentioned is atmosphere. These dinosaurs that are mixed from all different eras, some Triassic, some Cretaceous, some Jurassic, all millions and millions and millions of years apart. The climate was very different for all of them. Now, arguably, you can suggest that being mixed with different DNA, and they're not pure DNA, enables them to survive under our climate, our oxygen levels. But in reality, some of them should be wheezing through the lack of oxygen trying to pump through their huge bodies, which Crichton mentioned in the book. He gave Malcolm one of the lines that said, "Can't you hear the dinosaur wheezing?" Which is another problem with why the park wasn't running correctly. All these different things brought into equation were unknown. They didn't know how these animals would survive in our environment. So if we're going to get down to scientific accuracy, for a start, the oxygen level would need to be adjusted to how it would have been all them million years ago. These dinosaurs that were created, if they've got the DNA from that specific mosquito, then the animal's instinct would take over, and a certain environment would need to be created, whether it be like a glass a big, huge aviary-style greenhouse, maybe, to circulate the right, correct air temperature and air gas conditions to suit that certain animal. But that goes with the argument, why does science matter within the franchise? The way I look at it, at the end of the day, the director has got to make a movie, and it's got to be fun, it's got to be exciting, it's got to get people in their seats, give them something they haven't experienced before, or at least repeat something of the same level, and to bring them back. In reality, Jurassic Park would be a lot different if it was scientifically accurate. We would get a T-Rex that would eat a goat and then disappear and never see him again, or see her again, I should say. Never see her again, because once an animal's eaten, it doesn't hunt. Once an animal's been fed, it's got no reason to hunt for more food. They're not mindless monsters. But what sort of a movie would that be? You go to watch a dinosaur roar and chase things and, give a slight scare factor. But if all the animal does on screen is eat the goat and then growl and then walk off, that's not going to bring anyone back. So that's where the director comes into it, to change science slightly. How can they produce something that people would want to watch? If you want scientific accurate dinosaurs, then that's what documentaries are for. If they should make, a movie of, I'd quite happily watch a brand new, up-to-date, scientific accurate documentary. I'd even go to the cinema to watch it myself. At the end of the day, the books are very different to the films. And if Crichton had written in scientifically accurate things into his novel, then the movies probably would have less of a leg to stand on. But he didn't. The proof is there in the pudding. I'm as a hardcore fan as any of you guys that care enough to listen to this video or do other Jurassic related content around the social media. But I personally just enjoy the films and the books for what they are. The way I look at it, the more people criticise the stuff that's produced, the less likely it is to be made in future. One particular point that was thrown around in social media in the Jurassic community was about the fact that Chris Pratt wouldn't have survived the volcanic ash, which is true. That ash is probably thousands of degrees and probably would have burnt him alive as he was running, but that wouldn't have made a good movie. And so as controversial as these newest instalments of the franchise have been among fans, often a little bit of a split, on the positive side they have brought stability and have tried to stay faithful to what Crichton originally portrayed in the books. Once something is set in stone, it should be left, in particularly the designs of the animals. I think 5 movies down the line, it's a little bit late to change things. And as far as I'm aware, it's only a minority that have a problem with these slight things. I would never personally question anyone's loyalty and how much they are a fan of the franchise. It's just that I personally would look at it in a different way. I would go with the attitude that if it's something I love, I would support it no matter what. Some of the fans' problems I technically agree with, but I also accept them nonetheless, because it works in the bigger picture. Negativity never gets anybody anywhere. So guys, please, let's be positive about the future of the franchise. Personally, I think it looks bright, and I can't wait for Jurassic World 3 in 2021. Hopefully by then, everyone will be as excited as I am, whether science is accurate or not. Before I finish, I'd just like to say a special thank you to Justin from the Missing Compies podcast. Some of the topics brought up in episode 40 gave me the inspiration to make this video. So if you haven't, please do check that out. I'm James from Jurassic Unicast. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do for more content. See you later, guys.